Guys, about to go live on Barnes & Noble Instagram Live. So please join me. My husband, Stephen, is actually going to be the one that's moderating me and asking me all the questions. You can also ask questions and I'll be happy to answer them. So join me over there. We're going to talk all things the full plate. It's pup day! And put it out into the world in the way that you wish to see it. So.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, some people care, but also just in life, you see the finished product and you kind of fall in love with it, but second to go back to the ideation process, the development process, the tasting process. Talk about how much work goes into making a cookbook. So you go to the shelf, you see a lot of different cookbooks. This is the best one, obviously. But what goes into the process of, coming up with the themes, coming up with the concepts, coming up with the recipes. Give us a little inside sneak on what that looks like.
So I would say the way the first book happened is very, 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 very different for me than the process of the second book. The first cookbook, I felt like I had been ideating these recipes and going through the motions of making these recipes. I was raised on these recipes. And so everything was there already. And, after that first cookbook, was launched out into the world, people kept asking, when's the second one coming? When's the second one coming? And I vowed to myself and everybody that takes my word for it. I vowed to those people that I wouldn't come out with one until I felt passionate about what was on the pages and until, the recipes in the book were actually a true testament to my life and the way that I cook. And so with the process of this book, it took a lot longer than the first book. And I was developing it in the midst of chaos. And so I wanted everything to be quick and easy, one, for myself, but two, I said, hey, I know everybody else is feeling this way as well. So here are these recipes that you can, use to get the meal on the table fast, because I know that's what we need with our 3 kids these days. But we love food, and I love the way food tastes, so I didn't want to skimp on flavor and umami and deliciousness. And so even though they're fast and quick and easy, they're still delicious and they don't lack flavor. And right. I have a ton of love and spice and just yumminess in them. And so I would say this book had a lot more moving parts. So had a wonderful photographer, Eva Kalenko, that brought the vision to life. This time I did use food stylists, which I didn't with the first book. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was planning to make that. I have the ingredients. I was planning to make the mushroom tacos on live, so I have the recipe bookmarks. But look how vibrant. And I used a food stylist this time just because they were able to give you a representation of all of the ingredients that were in the recipes more so than with the first book. And it just made things run a lot smoother. I was able to be more in control of the creative process and the recipes and, the flavor profiles that I had a team helping me with the other things. And I'm just so grateful to everybody. I was also able, do you remember? I was also able to work with my sister, Maria.
That was going to be my next question.
Yes. Well, okay, ask the question.
So you like collaboration?
I love collaboration.
You like keeping it in the family as well.
Yes,
so
I do.
What was the process like working with Maria, your sister? Just give us, what does it look like?
So I love working with my family, and I'm so blessed. I get to work with my sister, Maria. She's my oldest sister. She's not going to like that I say that. But I get to work with her all the time on recipe development. And it's so fun because I think we bring 2 different styles of cooking to the table. And so we're able to put our heads together and say, where's the happy medium here? And she's
I'm going to pin so we can get this book. Go ahead.
She's really great at repurposing ingredients. And so there's a lot of that in there where we're making sure that what I'm telling people to put in their pantries can be used in multiple recipes throughout the book. And it was just such a fun process getting in the kitchen and testing with her. We had a blast. She came out for a couple weeks and we developed some of the recipes in here. In particular, the In-N-Out My Kitchen burger, the mushroom orzo risotto, She was there when I did the coconut shrimp, which is such a life hack because we used pancake batter, but you can't tell the difference. It's like premium, okay?
There we go.
It's such a dream, such a dream. So Maria, if you're watching, I love you so much.
She's got to be watching.
She's got to be watching.
She's
got to be watching. I don't think you actually put anything in there.
I'm going to finish it up. I wanted to ask the next question to make sure we keep the thing going. But in terms of, I feel like when you look at a cookbook, you kind of browse through it, you see the pictures, you look at the recipes, you kind of see some of the categories. It's got a little bit of everything, right? It's got drinks, it's got fish options, vegetarian options, beef options.
Hold on. Oh, we're back.
But where did you start compiling
where I
recipes?
started.
Give the people
I started
what that looks like. Where'd you start?
Started right here with the cocktails.
That's what's in your hand?
Right here with the cocktails. I was just playing around with flavors, and the ideas just started coming to me, and I was like, I've got to get my cocktail shaker out. I've got to start testing these drinks. And it was pre-COVID, obviously, so it was at a time when people could still get together and have that camaraderie and enjoy each other's company. And so I took a deep dive. I created like 15 different cocktails, and I believe 9 or so of the new cocktails made it into the book. And I'll never forget, it was one of the best nights ever. You happened to be on the road.
I was not there.
You were not there.
Unfortunately.
But it was a great night. I had a bunch of my friends over, 17 to be exact. Didn't realize I had that many friends. Some were family though. But I tested all of the cocktails on on everybody there, full-size cocktails, by the way.
Yeah.
And everybody had a comment card and left, what they liked about the flavor profiles of each cocktail, which ones they didn't like, what they'd like to see different in the drinks. And so that was just a fun process. And I put it at the beginning of the book, the cocktails chapter with the snacks, just because I feel like, dinner time's a time for fun and enjoyment and togetherness, and there's nothing wrong with starting it out with like a nice cocktail, especially before you're getting ready to cook.
It's a universal language right there.
For some people, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whether it's a mocktail or cocktail.
Yeah, there's mocktail options in there as well. Boom.
Yours turned into a sleepover though, so there weren't many mocktails.
I was not going to let anybody drive home. Once they started pestering me for the full-size drinks and not the tasters, I was like, you guys have to stay here.
Absolutely. So, you want to make it fun, right? You want to have a process where you can get real-time feedback as your recipe testing and all that. And I think as you kind of dig into the vault, give us an insight on some memorable moments in your life that led to a certain recipe or, some expression that you put into the cookbook that means something to you in terms of maybe our history, kids, family, whatever it might be. Give us something that may have shown up that's a little bit more personal.
Yeah, I think almost every recipe in this book revolves around...
I got one off the top of my head. I might give it to you.
Okay. Oh,
go ahead.
You're so cute. I can't even stand it. Why are you so cute? Ah! Okay.
Answer the question.
I'm answering it. So almost all of the recipes in this book revolve around some sort of nostalgia. I can pick one. I would say the coconut shrimp. I know I mentioned that. You were?
She hit it.
No, you weren't.
Well, tell them why.
Well, okay, so when he was in college, we would go to Outback Steakhouse all the time. We thought this was like high-class fine dining, okay? The Outback Steakhouse. He would get the Alice Springs chicken and No Rules pasta, sometimes a little petite filet, the wallaby darn with the extra floater on the top. And I would always get the coconut shrimp. Mm-hmm. And it just became this nostalgic thing to me because it reminds me of all of those times we went to Outback or got Outback takeout because there was a game to watch back in the dorms. Like, whatever it was. Or if we wanted to go play, what's it called, Rock Band really bad on the drums, we just get takeout.
We're dating ourselves, go ahead.
Yeah, we are dating ourselves. Oh my gosh.
We're not old though.
We're not old. We're young. We're cool parents, okay?
Speaking of being parents.
What?
I know there's a lot of families, parents, grandparents, everybody in the family that wants to introduce their kids to, fine dining, if you call it that, but also like just expand their palates a little bit more. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to get a child or a kid to try something that they're not comfortable with. Give us some tips on how for our three, we don't have to worry about Ryan. Our middle child, literally, she'll eat this chair. Like it doesn't matter.
Eat the chair.
Maybe, yeah. She
might if you told her it tastes good.
But for our other two, a little bit more on the picky side. Like, give us some tips on how you make them more comfortable in the kitchen, preparing foods, but also get them to try certain things that they might not gravitate towards.
Absolutely. So I can't speak to everyone, but in the past when I've given this advice and me implementing it into our life with our kids, I mean, it's worked. And what it is honestly getting in the kitchen with them and cooking, you guys. And not all of the time, that's stressful, but we try and do it often. And I give them a job or a task to do, even if it's sprinkling in a seasoning or putting a cup of flour into, the dish if we're baking. They make these amazing kids knives that are plastic. They're safe. They can't cut themselves. Letting them chop up the veggies, just instilling in them that kitchen confidence from such a young age is important. And I feel like it makes a difference. And there's actually, you've heard me say this a million times, but there's so many studies that show that kids are more apt to try a new food if they've had a hand in making it.
Facts.
And so
that's science.
It's science. So I highly recommend getting in the kitchen, not stressing about that mess that's inevitably going to be there, creating a new memory with them, and just giving them that confidence. And I wish I could say I guarantee, but I almost guarantee that they'll try whatever it is they've had that hand in making. And that's really how I've introduced new spices, new flavors, new proteins to the kids, and it's worked 99.9% of the time.
Got it. So I know some people have been putting some questions in, but before we get to that, because we obviously want to answer as many as she can. I'm saying we, like I'm about to speak on behalf of the
I feel like you just know what I'm going to say anyway.
I could, but I got a couple rapid fire questions that you got the book in front of you. How many recipes are in there?
There are 100.
So 100 recipes to choose from.
Yeah.
If you need to, look at it to answer probably, but I'm pretty sure these will be right off the top of your head. But be quick rapid fires, and then we'll get to the questions.
Okay.
Before we finish up, so
I think it's so funny that we live in the same house, and I actually have no clue what you're gonna ask me.
That's true, and I'm cheating because I have my own little rapid fire note here. So, what recipe would you absolutely have in the weeknight dinner rotation?
Oh, I would absolutely have the rasta pasta.
Yes.
Yes.
Say no more.
I love it.
Yes.
Say less.
Say less.
Shrimp, curry, coconut cream, delicious linguine noodles, or any noodle you have on hand. Lots of veggies in there. So bell peppers, onions. It's such a flavor bomb. And it's a good way also to introduce your kids to, no pun intended, to curry. It's a great way because it's not overpowering. So it's a good way to introduce it to their palates.
Say less. We started off on a really hot note when I was when we first started dating. I made a homemade chai tea latte, right? But 11 years later, if you're trying to impress somebody, what recipe are you going to in the cookbook?
Okay, this is a multi-pronged. This is
rapid fire. It's supposed
to be okay, fine. Okay. The hot honey chicken sandwich.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It rivals. Yes. All that.
The hot.
Popeyes.
It rivals all of them joints. It rivals all of them joints. Okay. The hot.
Don't even go out the house. Don't even go down the standing lines. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Just what she said.
Make this one. And I was gonna say if not that, then the poached halibut. Okay.
Yeah. 3 more. We make them quick.
Okay.
Which recipe took the longest time to get absolutely right and perfect? The answer probably could be none because she's that good. But
thanks, babe. That's really sweet. I would say the Swedish meatballs. So they're IKEA style. Another nostalgic recipe. I spent so many weekends with my parents at IKEA, just walking through IKEA. And they would always like remedy the situation with one of the IKEA Cinnabons, and we would go into the cafeteria area, and I'd get the Swedish meatballs with the lingonberry sauce. And we had to do that one a couple of times to like get it spot on, because I didn't want to disappoint IKEA, you know?
That's true. So, favorite dessert in the book?
Oh, the white chocolate macadamia skillet cookie. Woo! Delicious. You can't go wrong with the skillet cookie. It serves so many people, and it's delicious. Yum.
This might be hard to answer.
Oh,
this
ice cream?
is the last one. Last rapid fire. It might be
Okay.
hard to answer. What's the hero, like, most iconic, memorable recipe in the book?
Iconic to me?
Yes, I mean, yes.
The pineapple fried rice, you guys. The pineapple fried rice, just because it takes me back to a time when I was 17. I was figuring out, like, just walking into adulthood, trying to figure it all out. I was by myself in LA, and like that meal that I would get from that restaurant just gave me so much comfort. And from that point on is when I started making it. I don't know why I didn't put it in the first book, but it's in the second. So, but it takes me back. It takes me back. It's really humbling, in my opinion.
All right, so we're going to get to some questions that have been submitted during the IG Live. And
Let's
we're going
hear
to
it.
address them straight up and right now. So, are any of the recipes vegan? That's a great question.
Any of the recipes vegan? So yes, there's a ton of recipes in the For Good Measure chapter that are vegan. There's salads, sides, veg, and those are vegan. There's a delicious mushroom taco recipe that I'm actually going to demo on my live at some point this week. I haven't decided when yet, but it is bomb. Corn tortilla, gorgeous portobello mushrooms with coconut aminos, and it's so good. You guys are going to love it. It has this avocado crema on it, and basically you just swap out the regular yogurt for some cashew or coconut yogurt, and it's fabulous. So yes.
That's a great answer. Another good question. Some universal advice on that you would give somebody who wants to write a cookbook themselves.
The universal advice that I would give to somebody that wants to write a cookbook themselves is to have some people over when it's safe to do so. Have some people over. Get the foundation of it started. So a premise, an idea, a theme for the book. Share it with the people you love and get their feedback. I'm almost certain that they'll start gassing you and encouraging you to do it. And I've been ideating, especially with my first cookbook, I've been ideating that for years and years and was scared to do it. Really just genuinely scared. And I remember I had some really cool women over one night, and they were like, let's see it. Let's see what you got. And I showed them, and they were like, no, you're doing this. And went out a couple weeks later, got a game plan together for the book, and stuff started happening. So you gotta go in just knowing that, not everybody's gonna love it, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But just have the right people in your corner, your core group of people there to encourage you along the way, and you'll be okay.
All right, got a few more. 3 really good questions. What is your favorite meal time to cook? You got breakfast, you got lunch, you got dinner, you got brunch. You also got that random 3 a.m. Impromptu, spontaneous meal that you like to make 3-4 times a year.
I know, I do.
Hey, we're still up at 3 a.m. Y'all hungry? Yeah, we're hungry. Let's go look in the fridge or something. Oh, there's a couple of ingredients. Let me whip something up right quick. And then 30 minutes later, it's a 5-star Michelin, 3 Michelin star type meal. And I'm gassing her.
He's talking about the gnocchi with fig and pancetta that's in the book, and that's how that happened. And I almost cut my finger off.
Yeah, that's true.
But the recipe is so easy and delicious and yummy. I've simplified it since then. It's dinner. Yeah. That's what this book is. It's dinner. It's drinks. It's a sprinkle of desserts. But for us, when the evenings are winding down and everybody's home, that's where I put my greatest attention to is creating dinner for my family, making memories with my family around the dinner table, and so that's absolutely hands down my favorite.
Hands down.
That's me.
Hands down. You might have answered this before, but just specifically, like, how do you find inspiration for new dishes? Like, you talk about the book theme in general, but like, you know, I guess at this point, not a lot of people are reinventing the wheel when it comes to, you know, you're working with the same types of food, but when it comes to different flavors, different approaches to it, trying to experiment, like, how do you come up with that inspiration?
Well, we all know I'm like there was a time when I would go, when I would go and browse, you know, the grocery store and see what looked fresh and new and interesting. Pick one thing and then revolve the whole meal around that one thing, whether it was a new cut of fish or a new protein that I hadn't worked with before, and just, you know, center it around that, or whatever's fresh and in season when it comes to produce. I'm big on that. And then just experiences. So when we go out to eat and things like that, I'll have something that I think is delicious. For instance, there's a scallop recipe. There's 2 scallop recipes in the book. We went to Iceland and had this amazing scallop dish, and I said, I gotta go home and figure out how to make my version of this. And so it's just little moments like that inspire me. I have a very long list of iPhone notes on my phone of things that I want to try and get done.
This question is very personal to me because I don't know how to cook. So I got the 5-ingredient pasta, right? Y'all saw that in the Season Life cookbook. I didn't add anything to this one. I got my one little page in Season Life. But for somebody who's just starting out to cook, like, what's a safe recipe to kind of start with in the full plate?
I would say the pastafarians chapter, so pastafarians. So all of the pasta dishes, so that umami mac and cheese is killer, and it's very easy to put together. Roasted red pepper pasta, most of it's done in a blender. The rasta pasta, like, it packs so much flavor and it's gonna impress your guests, but it's done in a flash. So really, the rustic lamb pasta bake that I made earlier today, I feel like that's a great place to start, is with pasta. And it's also a great way to use up your ingredients or sub for ingredients that you don't have. So I think, like, advice that I would give somebody that's just coming in, that's the novice cook, is to not be afraid to play around with ingredients and swap things out. That's how you build your creativity and your confidence in the kitchen.
I kind of know this answer, but for kids, we'll talk about our kids specifically, like, how do you balance, you know, where they're at in their development and what you allow them to do in the kitchen, with really giving them, like, a full experience of saying, we're not going to let you just make the whole meal, maybe when you get to that age, maybe it's appropriate, but just balancing that, especially with kids at different ages. I know there's, like, a competition thing, and everybody wants to, you know, have as much participation as possible. How do you balance that when you're in the kitchen and be alert to everything that's going on?
I think just time, just, like, watching what they're doing every time that you get in the kitchen together. You can gauge that. I think we're intuitive as parents, and you know where your kid, what the benchmarks that they need to reach, and what you feel comfortable with. Because it's not always about where they're at. Sometimes it is what you feel comfortable with them doing as a parent. Because nobody wants to have tremendous anxiety in the kitchen. And so for us, like, right now, like, Riley, with supervision, like, we let her make her own eggs. We'll let her chop some things still with the kid's knife. Whereas Ryan is still at the stage where we don't really let her go around the stove. She's 5, so she's not quite there yet. But we'll let her use the kid-friendly knife. You know what? You are not on the same level as Ryan.
Self-deprecation's the best.
She's way past you. No, I'm just joking. But we'll let her chop some things, but really she's helping put the spices in and helping garnish when it's all done. So really, us as parents, we know what to do. Like, you know what to do. It's there.
Catch up.
What's happening with our connection?
I know. If you want to give
I used up all the internet today.
Pub day.
Pub day.
It's nonstop. Kind of coming to the end. So, what would you say? What would you want to tell your readers, your chef and enthusiasts, the people that are just beginning?
Nice word, babe.
Thank you. I really prepared for this.
Nice word.
What would you want them to experience with the full plate, and just any parting words on how excited you are that this is finally a reality?
Yeah.
Give them some words.
I think it's no secret how elated I am for this bad boy. I put so much love into it. I really did. It's not just a thing to do for me. It's, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times, sometimes it's just a box for somebody to check mark. This is not that for me. This is truly one of my babies, and I put so much love and effort and thought into this.
Absolutely.
I, every recipe, put my hands all over, and just wanted to make sure that I was giving you guys the best, recipe possible. Again, all of them are backed by like these nostalgic stories that just take you back to a moment. And what I guess my hope for people at home is that this will get you excited to get back in the kitchen if you haven't been in the kitchen in a while. It'll give you new inspiration if you are the avid cook. It'll encourage you to get cooking if you've never cooked before. But ultimately, I hope that it brings the ones you love together and allows you to create memories of your own in your own homes, whether it be with your friends or your family, whoever it may be. And so that's really the whole point of it. It's just this big vessel for deliciousness and communication and a total representation of love. So that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, there's no better, cookbook that I know of in terms of how seeing the process from start to finish. Like she said, all the love that she put into it. The collaboration with all the people that breathe life into this. It's crazy exciting, crazy rewarding, I know, for you to have this on bookshelves. Make sure you go buy one for yourself, buy one for your friends, have it in your kitchen at all times, use it, go through it,
get it dirty,
experiment, do the whole thing, and just enjoy the time, because at the end of the day, this leads to amazing meals that leads to quality time with your family, your friends, your loved ones, even if it's got to be on Zoom. Y'all just make recipes, make meals in every city, every household, come together, spend some time together, however you got to do it.
But order the book.
But order the book, yeah. That's first and foremost.
Yes.
So we appreciate you guys
Thank
watching.
You guys so much.
Thank you for letting me test out my interview skills.
You did a great job. I'm really proud of you. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, babe.
Go get Full Plate, barnesandnobles.com. Everywhere you get your books. Let's have a great time juggling, balancing life with the Full Plate. Let's get it.
Yes. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
Bye.
Go get the book!